series of quiet, unexceptional events. Such an impression is supported by the comment of her brother Henry, who wrote after her death that her life was not by any means a life of event. Similarly, her nephew James added in a biography published 50 years later that, of events, her life was singularly barren. Few changes and no great crisis ever broke the smooth current of its course. However, just as readers find that the complexity of Austen's novel lies in its characters and style, those studying Austen herself discover that the events of her life are secondary to her compelling personality, quick wit, and highly developed powers of observation. The fact that Austen's life lacked the drama that other authors may have experienced in no way detracted from her skill as a writer. In actuality, Austen's lack of extraordinary experiences, as well as of a spouse and children, probably made her writing possible by freeing her time to work on her books. Additionally, because her books were published anonymously, Austen never achieved personal recognition for her works outside of her sphere of family and friends. Such anonymity suited her, for, as literary critic Richard Blyth notes, literature, not the literary life, was always her intention. Formative years. Born on December 16, 1775, Jane Austen was the seventh of 8 children born to George and Cassandra Austen. The family lived in Steventon, a small Hampshire town in south-central England, where her father was a minister. The Austens were a loving, spirited family that read novels together from the local circulating library and put on home theatricals. It was for the family circle that Austen first wrote high-spirited satires, some of which later became novels after numerous and careful rewritings. Out of her 7 siblings, Austen was closest to her only sister Cassandra. From 1783 to 1785, the 2 girls attended schools in Oxford and Southampton and the Abbey School at Reading. When the Austens could no longer afford the tuition, Jane and Cassandra returned home to read extensively and learn from their family how to speak French and Italian and play the piano. Most accounts agree that the Austen daughters were pretty and enjoyed the slightly limited but interesting round of country parties described in Austen's novels. When Austen was 20, she met Tom Lefroy, a young Irishman visiting his uncle in Hampshire. Seeing that the 2 young people were on the verge of an engagement, Lefroy's family sent him home rather than letting him attach himself to someone as poor as a clergyman's daughter. Austen's second brush with marriage occurred at age 27 when the wealthy Harris Big Wither proposed and Austen accepted. The next morning, however, Austen changed her mind, giving up the wealth and security inherent in such a match because she did not love him. Although Austen never married, the emphasis of courtship and marriage in her novels demonstrates the impact that these experiences had on her and her interest in love and marriage. Early novels. From 1796 to 1798, Austen wrote her first 3 novels, Northanger Abbey, originally titled Susan, Sense and Sensibility, originally titled Elinor and Marianne, and Pride and Prejudice, originally titled First Impressions. But none was published until later. Northanger Abbey, which was published posthumously in 1818, satirizes the Gothic novels that were popular at the time by presenting a heroine whose overactive imagination and love of Gothic novels lead her to see mysteries where none exist when she stays at Northanger Abbey. In Sense and Sensibility, published in 1811, Austen examines the contrast between 2 sisters who represent reason, sense, and emotion, sensibility, as they deal with being forced to live on a meager amount of money after their father dies. The threat of a father's death causing a reduced income also overshadows 2 sisters in Pride and Prejudice, which was published in 1813. In Pride and Prejudice, however, that threat of genteel poverty is still just a threat rather than a reality, and Austen focuses instead on how pride and first impressions can lead to prejudice. In her early writing, Austen began to